What up YouTube, it's Misery, it's Company. In today's video, I'm jumping into the Blood Knight and the newest shoulders that just came to the game for it, because these shoulders are changing the game when it comes to farming. And no, it's not from a speed standpoint. You're actually not going to believe that Blood Knight might be the best farmer, but not because they're fast. Let's get straight to it, guys. So first things first, my build is basically the exact same of the last Blood Knight build I did, basically, which is all about movement. So it's just like I think it's like 11 dashes, but we have a few less dashes than we did before. So of course we have all these, 3 in each, 1, 2, 3, this is 6. And then of course we have the skewer leaves, all right? And then I added this one, so we have a little bit more movement, but you're gonna notice that there wasn't a ton of damage there, right? The damage is going to come from the bats. Now, if we jump to the new shoulder essence, and so you know what I'm referring to, it's the flagellant spines, which is a pretty badass name, I'm not gonna lie. But this is swarm of bats now consumes your life to sustain the swarm as it hunts down enemies. Swarm of bats damage increased by 18%. I do have it awakened, so swarm of bats damage is 10% more. Now, you're gonna notice that if you just hit 4, or in my case 4, and some of my bats, they're just gonna go damage forever. Literally, there's no more of a cooldown. They will stay up because they are now hurting me. Now, if you look at my character, you're gonna notice that I'm staying healed, actually. I'm very much in combat, doing about 80k damage, roughly, which isn't a ton, okay? So that's the thing. This is not a high damage build. Now, I got a little bit over 90 because I procced one of my legendary gems, and my, of course, pets attacking, but I'm doing sustained damage that I can maintain without doing anything forever, okay? So, and no, this is not so that you can AFK farm, all right? I want to lead with that because I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, cool, I can just AFK farm with the barbarian. It does mean that when you are in a confined space, you can focus on you can go sort of in the middle and just use your ranged attacks to attack one pack while your swarm of bats will just keep attacking you. Now, of course, you're going to notice that I'm healing, like I said. Reason for that is that I'm using the pants oversight, which is swarm of bats now also heals you for 28.5% of the damage it deals. So I'm getting a little bit of damage done to me because it's hurting my life in order to keep the bats up. That's why my screen will forever be blinking red, which is a little annoying, I might add. But then I do have the pants that will keep me healed, and I'm using the teaming Gato, so that way the bats are destroying the armor, increasing the damage they take. Now you're gonna note, even in a boss situation where if I were to be doing this like in a dungeon or something like that, I will maintain this debuff. So again, you're gonna sacrifice some damage for some like some top tier damage in order to do sustained damage, in order to have like a permanent break like this. So where is this good in terms of farming? I'm gonna go ahead and just turn it off now because I don't need it. Well, one of my favorites is the SS farm, which I'm sure all of you know. It's over in Sahara Sea, right here, this little corner right above the Oasis waypoint. It's a very, very tight-knit spawn point, which is the whole point of this build. So yeah, there's a spawn point there, spawn point there, spawn point there, spawn point here, spawn point here, and spawn point there. You can literally stand right here in the corner and basically farm. Again, focusing your primary attacks on one mob while your bats go ahead and kill the other. Now, if you do this in a 4-man team, you can really sustain a high amount of experience, fodder, and everything else. And then your pet, of course, will run around and keep everything else for you. Better in a group, but there is also a place you can go to, an old faithful spot, I might add, that is very rarely farmed, at least on my server, because really it's not good anymore, and that's going to be the ship. That's where I'm going to actually go to showcase what I'm talking about. I actually haven't tested this area in particular, but let's go ahead and test it out. So again, as I walk there, I can literally just keep my bats going because they're just going to attack things as I walk because they're literally seeking out people to hurt, and they will heal me as well as lower the defense of all the people that are attacking me. So it's a pretty awesome. Now you can see the range, right? So you can see that it's killing things. It takes a little bit of time, but if I were to stand right here, so we have someone doing something very, very similar with a necro, which I've seen several necros do, that if you were to just walk around with this build, boom. Like, they will basically do it for me. So let me get over here. His necro, his minions or whatever are killing, and he's not AFK farming. He would be doing something very similar to what I would consider that this build is, which is like a semi-AFK farm, right? Which is within the terms of service. He's obviously playing, he is summoning his summons, he's moving, and I'm doing the same, right? So my bats are literally just gonna fly around and do this for us. In fact, if we wanted to team up with him real quick, we could do that. Go down the stairs a little bit, go and jump on him, boom. That's gonna finish the job for me. Now you're going to note that they do go a little slow, so keep that in mind. So it's not optimal for like if you're going to keep up farming for a while and be an active farmer, it's not amazing for it, although it does help to like kill things as you run by. So this build is very interesting. Now I'm losing health now because there's nothing for my bats to attack. So I can pick up this life globe, but that's where this is more profitable to you, is when it can consistently do damage to targets all the time. So if this guy wasn't here, I could probably stand similarly where, okay, well now we're in the same party. I could probably stand similarly to where he is, attack over here, and then my bats will attack for me over there. So I can attack these guys, boom, 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 and my bats are gonna just go ahead and do damage for me. Pretty fantastic. Now again, because there's not an incredibly high amount of active mobs, wow, the bats went all the way over there. I actually didn't think they were going to reach that far, but so you can see that because there's only 4 mobs in this area, I'm not sustaining damage all the time. So but they will track down people to a fight, so it's pretty sick. So it's just different. It's a different style of farming. For me, for example, while I'm editing a YouTube video on one screen, I could have Diablo Immortal up and be like casually farming. I don't want to call it AFK farming, because again, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think this is not the style of AFK farming that I think would get you banned, because you're still using a skill and you have a build that just keeps you alive, sort of thing. But I'm not going to risk it, guys. People are getting banned left and right. I'm not risking it. So this is a less active way of farming, in my opinion. Similarly to how people follow with the barbarian and just keep activating their skills in order to have like the flaming tornadoes fall behind them. Very similar situation. You could follow someone with this build and just let the bats do all the work for you. But then you wouldn't have to hit the skill anymore, so maybe it's even better. You see where I'm getting at here. The build is pretty interesting. Again, I do not condone complete AFK farming, but even if you just wanted to walk around and collect things and then let the bats kill everything, you can still do that. And again, we have mobility, so we can still move around pretty quickly. And they do kill somewhat fast. I mean, obviously not as fast as some other, other bat builds. What on top? Where did I go? I'm stuck. I can't move. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to use the unstuck button real quick because I have apparently glitched myself into the boat. I am the captain now, so let's go unstuck, unstuck. I will be unstuck in 8 seconds, probably going back to town, I would imagine. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the build, guys. I didn't really showcase the whole build. If you guys really want to see it, I can. Let's go and turn off the bat so I don't die. For Paragon Tree, I'm obviously using Treasure Hunter. For the rest of the build, I am rocking the Siren's Grin, which gives me the extra Whirling Strike, which is pairing well with this one, which is a Whirling Strike now causes you to dash forward. So now I get 6 dashes instead of 3. I showed you that this 3 combination, and then I am using the Slaver, which is for Skewer to now cause you to leap. I'm using the Skewer buff, Spring of Hawthorn, and then I'm using Hanging Chalice, which is after Shadow Edge hits an enemy, 2 blades ricochet out. It's basically my farming build, guys. It's very straightforward and it's actually kind of fun, and I like to just see where I can go to maintain it as long as possible. It's honestly a lot of fun and a very different way of looking at farming. So I can still do my normal routes, and then this is basically like passive damage that will always follow me, but if you go too fast, they'll always be jumping back to you. So you basically want to maybe even pair it with Siphon Blood and just walk. So it's a slower farm, but very like you don't have to focus on it. You could watch a movie and do it. So I hope you guys enjoy the build. Again, I'm very interested in this essence. I do use it if I'm like, again, editing something or doing something on one screen and I want to run a dungeon and I just can't be fully active or fully engaged like I would be to do like a perfect rotation or anything like that. So it's actually pretty cool, guys. And also shout out to the Blood Knight for just looking absolutely sick with this skin. It looks awesome. But that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Until next time, I hope to see you in a video soon.